From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. A production of iHeartRadio's How Stuff Works.
Hello. Welcome back to the show. My name is Matt.
My name is Noel.
They call me Ben. We are joined, as always, with our super producer, Paul Cash Credit Decant. Most importantly, you are here, and that makes this stuff they don't want you to know. Now, we'll answer this question in a second, but we want you to think about this as well while you're listening. What was the last thing you purchased? Literally, the last thing you purchased before you turned on today's episode. Did you use cash? Did you use a card or Ben Bucks? Or are you a person who still writes a check? If you said a card, in fact, if you're one of the people who just heard those questions and scoffed and thought, it's 2020, who on earth bothers with cash, then congratulations, you're not alone. So what about us? As long as we're not, confessing to anything illegal, what's the last thing you guys bought?
Was it drugs? It was drugs, wasn't it?
No, mine was going to be groceries. Quick story. I was at a Kroger, local grocer, and as soon as I've got about probably $100 more, maybe even than that, worth of food in my cart, I take it up to check out, and all of their network goes down. And all I've got on me are cards. And I go, oh, well, I can't put this on the old corporate card anymore. I was really hoping to get away with it, and I would have if it wasn't for those darned kids.
Kids?
Yeah. Okay, anyway. So I ran across the street, and I got cash out, which I never do anymore. Took it back over there, and by the time I got back, the network was up. So really, it's not a story. I didn't have to use my cash. Don't rob me. I'm not carrying it on my person.
But you did, so you ultimately ended up purchasing with a card.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it makes sense though, because it's
it's
like
the
a
only
close
reason,
call.
Yeah. Unless I'm traveling, and that's really the only time I'll take out a little bit of extra cash as maybe something will come up that I won't anticipate. Mm-hmm. But other than that, do you carry cash, guys?
I keep all my cash in my shoe.
All of it?
For a power move.
Okay.
For when I have to give someone some cash, I pull it out of my shoe and see if they'll take it. That's actually from an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's never happened to me.
And they'll take your shoe cash. Yeah, I used to carry cash in a couple of different parts of my person when I was traveling in sketchy areas. And then also when I am in cities and I use public transit a lot. It's just an old habit to always this may sound paranoid, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I strongly believe in not carrying all of your stuff like that in one area. You know what I mean? If you have something in your wallet, having $20 or $50 in your shoe is also not as crazy as it sounds. It's
Agreed.
A smart idea. This interesting. Noel, what did you buy? Is there anything that pops to mind where your last purchase or something?
With cash?
In general.
I went to the breakfast bar at Whole Foods this morning. Mm-hmm. And I actually paid using my Apple Pay on my phone, where you can just hold it up to the RFID reader, and then you put your fingerprint in, and then you put in your PIN, and you're done.
Wow.
And this, as long as these systems are in place, we see a lot of advantages for a cashless society, right? You don't have to haul around large amounts of bills. You don't have to worry about counting out or receiving change. It really can be, when everything works, as simple as putting your phone up to the RFID reader.
And it puts a level of difficulty between you and a potential person who's going to rob you, because they can't just take your card and then immediately use it. Generally, there's some steps you have to take.
Yeah. And again, in theory, right?
Yeah.
So that's today's question. What happens in a world where these sorts of interactions, Matt at the grocery store, Noel at the breakfast buffet, what happens when those cashless transactions are the norm? What happens when they're the mandate? Well, here are the facts. For anybody in the audience today who happens to be a dragon sitting atop a pile of cash, treasure, blood, and gold, don't worry just yet, cash is still king, as they say, at least for now. And that's because it represents, even today, the most frequent method of payment in the U.S. overall. That equals out to about 31% of all consumer transactions. And that's more than electronic transactions, credit cards, debit cards, or, of course, checks.
And that's worldwide, right? Or no,
that's U.S.-based.
That's just in the U.S.
Just in the U.S., 31%.
Such a surprising statistic to me.
The U.S. also lags behind some countries, which we'll explore a few examples in a moment. But this also makes me think, when's the last time you saw somebody write a check?
Who even takes checks anymore is my question.
The last time I saw a check or wrote a check, even interacted with a check, it was for a rental agreement.
That was what it was for me too, and I didn't have any checks.
So you had to go get checks.
I had to go get checks to write a check.
And they don't ever sell just one check unless you get like a cashier's check,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
I'm trying to think of other methods. I'm pretty sure some doctors' offices, like if you're paying a copay or something, will accept a check. And grocery stores.
They also both have demographics that will tend to include older people.
Exactly.
It just seems, you're right, especially the older people, that's just more of like a, old school way of paying that people don't want to fully phase out because it makes certain customers uncomfortable. They want to be able to do things the way they're used to being able to do things. Mm-hmm. But inherently, checks are a very inefficient means of paying because it takes a while for the money to come out of your account. There's the whole joke of don't cash this till Monday, like
checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail, or AKA I'm writing you a check that at this particular point in time isn't any good. Mm-hmm. That's a thing that is a sort of a pitfall of check writing and accepting really more than anything.
But unlike credit cards, checks do not incur interest in that way. So that's one appeal people could see. Also, some people have the comfort, especially if they're locked into the technology, they have the comfort of physically writing out their ledger, balancing their checkbook, For some people, that can feel the way that people of certain religions feel when they are handling rosaries. I say certain religions, but like Catholicism, I guess, would be the main one. I'm not a rosary surgeon or doctor.
I think there are more than just Catholicism.
Eastern Orthodox?
Yeah, I just know that that's one of them.
So
what's that, the beads thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we see that despite the fact that so many transactions do still occur in cash, for a number of years, the United States and many, many other places have been moving away from physical currency. It's true. Fewer and fewer adults are using printed or minted U.S. currency, bills and coins at all now. There are some people who are just like, well, why would I touch cash? It's dirty. It smells. We have some filthy statistics about physical currency in earlier episodes.
You don't like touching change, but how do you feel about cash?
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
The tactileness of it all works for you?
Yeah. And thank you for checking, by the way.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot more thong contact with the bills, though.
Thong contact?
That's what I'm there for.
Oh, you mean like in the club?
I'm assuming in the club. Or the club, I guess.
Well, the thong is what you make of it,
Well, I keep my cash in my shoe. Some people keep cash in their thong.
Yeah. You might even have a little extra compartment, maybe at a hip.
Wait, is a thong not a shoe? I thought we were talking
about... That's a type of flip-flop, yes. Yeah. The thong is a component of the flip-flop. I guess you could call them thongs.
Wait, so if
people say that?
Then what are we talking about?
Paul shrugs and says yes.
I was talking about underwear. I was talking about salacious undergarments.
Oh, wow.
Don't be coy. You knew what you were talking about.
I had no idea.
My mom keeps her cell phone in her brassiere. Is that weird?
A lot of people keep their stuff at knives, gas cards,
probably bundles of cash,
beepers, guns, bundles of cash.
What about the old money clip?
Drugs.
I want to see that make a comeback.
It's still around. Money clips are still around, as are money belts, which are like the nerdy pocket protectors you wear abroad.
Wait, so is that like a fanny pack exclusively for cash?
It doesn't have the carrying capacity of fanny packs, but yeah, most money belts will be worn under clothing, and they will strap